have companies come to us and say, we're spending less and we're getting more ROI. How is that possible? It's possible because you're focusing on meeting people where they're at in the right places instead of being everything to everyone. And a similar question that we get is, we want to grow really fast, so shouldn't we be doing all of these things? The reality is that success in marketing, ROI from your marketing, actually comes more from choosing tactics that are going to directly impact your sales process and implementing those tactics successfully than doing a really wide list of things. Welcome to October. It is getting cold in Minnesota. It was 40 degrees this morning when I sent my kids to school. Really chilly. It was also dark when I sent my oldest to the bus stop. Not my favorite way to send him off to school, but I don't really have a choice in that matter. I did convince him that I can drive him to the bus stop instead of him walking because now it's cold, which is a little win in my book. So today we're talking, I'm sorry, I'm freezing. I don't have my heat on yet because it's going to be 70 degrees today. So I feel like it's a waste to turn the heat on, but it's cold this morning. Anyway, so today we're talking a little bit about what marketing tactics you should be implementing in October. So if you are a professional service firm, financial firm, or in health tech, these are the things you should be working on. If you fall outside of that spectrum, this is probably applicable to you too, but our content and our tools are designed for companies in those specific spaces. So we're going to talk a little bit about those foundational tools, which if you're a member of our marketing portal, which is free, you can go to the monthly marketing tracker and see all of the templates and the trainings for each of these tactics that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about why those are important and what the goal is with those tactics between now and the end of the year. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the other things you should be doing this month, which all relates back to 2025 planning. Because believe it or not, the end of the year will be here before we know it. And we really want to focus in on getting that 25 content, like starting to prepare for that strategy and deciding what we're going to focus on in the new year. We're not going to do a ton of work on that this month, but there are a few steps that you can take to start getting ready for that strategy session that you're going to have in November or December. What's funny about this is that a lot of companies do marketing planning earlier, like in October, larger companies. But for our clients who are small to mid-sized businesses, it typically is more effective to get a little closer to the end of the year before doing that plan. Some of our clients even wait until January. They get through the holiday rush and then they do a new plan in January. It really just depends on where you're at and how much time you have in the fourth quarter. So let's talk a little bit about the foundational tools that you should be working on this month. Like I said, these are in the monthly marketing tracker in the Amplify Marketing Portal. If you're not a member, you can join below. So the 4 tactics that we're working on, 4 foundational tactics that you will have on your to-do list for October, November, and December, and beyond that, are social media content, specifically linked for LinkedIn, a monthly newsletter, a monthly blog, and a monthly video. And we have templates already in place for the social media. The newsletter training, I believe, is later this week. The blog training is the following week, and the video training is the last week of October. Why is it important to just really hone in on these? And why should you not be focusing outside of this? So you may have marketing tactics that you're implementing outside of this, but these 4 things are your core digital marketing foundation for keeping your brand consistently in front of your audience. Social media is essential. A newsletter can compile all of the information that you're pushing out on social media or trainings that you have or other things that you're doing, and keep that in front of people. Email is still the #1 way to stay in front of people. So that monthly newsletter is just a consistent touch point for people in your sphere. That blog demonstrates thought leadership and can be repurposed everywhere. And same with that video. That video can be repurposed in a lot of different ways. And it is something that you can do rather quickly. Like it's not something that needs to be a huge time intensive tactic on your to-do list. Why do we tell you why do we tell you to limit yourself to 4 to 5 activities? You can watch our webinar from last month on the 5 tactic marketing plan that's so successful for our clients. We actually have honed this in so well that we have companies come to us and say, we're spending less and we're getting more ROI. How is that possible? It's possible because you're focusing on meeting people where they're at in the right places instead of being everything to everyone. And a similar question that we get is, we want to grow really fast, so shouldn't we be doing all of these things? The reality is that success in marketing, ROI from your marketing, actually comes more from choosing tactics that are going to directly impact your sales process and implementing those tactics successfully than doing a really wide list of things. So thinking about what your sales team is doing and how you can best support that with marketing is actually more effective than just being everywhere online. So that's why we start with these 4, because these 4 are some of the most effective. I do recommend that you also have some sort of sales tactic that your sales team is implementing. Maybe that's cold calling or prospecting in some way. Maybe they're going to networking events this month. But these are the 4 marketing tools that we're really focused on month to month. And our goal as part of the marketing portal for fourth quarter is to just build consistency with these tactics while we start to kind of evaluate what our goals are for next year and what other tactics above and beyond this are going to help support that. What that does is it lays a foundation and it helps us create consistency. And it helps us start getting brand visibility. So people in your sphere on social media or on your email list, they're starting to get used to seeing your brand. They're starting to get used to seeing your message. They're starting to get comfortable with who you are, and they're not going to be overloaded if you push a ton of marketing their way, right? Because we're only focused on this small bucket of tactics right now. We can build on top of that down the road, but we have to have that foundation before we start throwing more and more out there into the world, or people tune us out because it doesn't feel authentic. So the focus, again, social media, 2 posts a week at least, especially if you're really only focused on LinkedIn. 2 posts a week is totally sufficient. You could throw a third post on there, watch the training from last week, and you'll get all of the details on that. Newsletter once a month, blog once a month, video. Right now, we're focused on 1 video a month. I'd like to see you be able to cut that video into 4 short videos so you have one going out every week, but we're starting with 1. We don't have to start with everything, right? Those are the things that you should be focused on first. The next thing that you need to start focusing on is starting to think about your 2025 plan. We're not going to do a strategy session this month. We're not going to choose the tactics this month. We're not going to do a deep dive on anything this month. All we're going to do is start thinking about what have we done over the last 12 months that felt really effective. How did people respond to it in a way that felt like really positive? Were there things that we did that got our name out in the community? Are there things that brought in a lot of clients for us? That's what you want to start thinking about, and just start a running list. It's not something that you need to like make super formal. You just need to start a running list like on your iPad or on the notes on your computer in OneNote, or if you have a Mac, maybe in your notes section. I'm a Mac girl. As of 2 years ago, was never a Mac person before that. So you're going to start to make a list of those things. Anything that was effective. You don't need to think about anything that wasn't effective. Just think about the things that were effective. If you find yourself with a little bit of extra time, maybe start writing down what some of your goals are for 2025. You may have done some of that work already, like strategically within your business, that you want to hit certain numbers next year or certain growth percentages next year, which is great. But there are other less tangible things as well. Like maybe you want to delegate more. Maybe you want to grow with 2 new sales leaders or 2 new advisors next year. You should start writing those goals down and think about what it would take for you to get there, because that plays into your marketing as well, because it plays into how much you need to sell in order to make those things happen. Think about who needs to be involved in the process, who is a stakeholder in marketing and who is an implementer in marketing. Just start writing these things down. That's all you have to do for the month of October. And we're going to take that in November and we're going to turn that into something a little bit more tangible. But we just have to start with some of the data, some of the info, fit that in on your calendar whenever it works. and try to start compiling that information. In the meantime, make sure you're putting on your calendar when you need to be doing your 4 foundational things. When do you need to start your next social media calendar in order to not lose time in between calendars? When do you want to send out your newsletter? When is your next blog post due? When is your next video due? And who's going to be part of that? Those are things that you can start doing to get that consistency going and start building your marketing plan into something really strategic and really tangible for your business. I hope that's helpful for you guys today. I will post this in the marketing portal. And if you have questions, reach out. We are here to help. Talk to you soon. Bye.